Good day, Mel. Doo-doo-doo. Um, Welcome, Kijos, as well. We have some interesting price action to discuss, so let's wait a few minutes for some people to join. But yeah, we took all the local sell side liquidity into demand here. So this is the key area we have been waiting for. But the move down into the level is a bit aggressive, which is always something I don't really like. But I'll go over it in a minute. Quickly looking what oil is doing. Gold is hovering around that high time frame market structure level. So an interesting level to watch. Let's first start with Bitcoin. Because this week also we have like a new quarter. So it's April 1st. I'll let the jokes aside for this time. But first day of the month, first day of the quarter. So usually that is, yeah, the price actually can be a weird bit more unpredictable than normally, but yeah, nothing too crazy. Welcome, guys, Matt and Map. So the whole week we basically have seen, like, we had this sweep on Sunday, and then Monday we opened here, and then we basically have been chopping around with swing failing the highs, swing failing the lows, and pushing higher. And then each time we saw sellers push price down from around this VWAP, or like just in general this zone. Also, if you look at the higher time frame, you can clearly see that we had a lot of wicks to the upside. So this shows that big players, or at least sellers, were present here to push price lower. And yesterday during the stream, which was, let's see, yesterday we had that third sweep, this sweep. And then I was like, this was the price action we had. So I was like, am I interested in the short or the long? And to me, it was just 50-50, so did not position myself. And then overnight, price shot up, or shoot up. Finally breaking above that zone that has been resistance. So generally, after a zone has been resistance for a long time, which it was like here, and it's rejected first, second, third time, then eventually, if price keeps pushing at it, it shows that there are more buyers because they keep pushing price to the same level. And eventually you flip it, and then normally you have like retest continuation, which is still the most likely scenario until we start losing like the upward structure, which is basically high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So my main planning was to look for higher low, higher high. I still think that's the most likely scenario. Or we have like a very, very nasty kind of deviation move above, in which this was the manipulation, and it we then break lower, which would be a nasty play because we have then rejected so many times, pushed finally above it, and if we then sell off, that would be nasty play, but can see it play out. But for that to happen, I want, before I want to look for shorts, I want to see this demand fail. And then I'm pretty sure that this was like a deviation move. And then I think we go back to these lows, maybe even this low. But until then, as long as this demand hold, I think it's more likely for price to go back to the highs, maybe that level right there. So that was the main plan also, which we shared in the group, where we had like this demand, which was tapped here, then we bounced from it. And this is the lower demand with this sell-side liquidity above it. So price now perfectly took that sell-side liquidity into this demand and is bouncing. The only thing which is a bit less ideal is that, like here we had some, here we had solid structure. So we had low, lower high, low, low. So what I was hoping for was to see that like slowly continue into the level and then get a break structure. And then you get a good long entry. However, the last move here is pretty aggressive, which shows seller strength. So here locally, there's not really any market structure I can use to confirm an entry. Because basically we have now low, lower high, lower low. So this is our market structure high, which is also protected by supply. So that makes it the bit less ideal how to play it. What could happen, of course, is that we maybe bounce, then come back down, make a new low, then flip it, and then we have market structure to work with. But beside that, now we are basically stuck between this supply and this key demand. And if we lose this demand, then the weekly lows could be next. And if we flip this supply, then new weekly highs are next. So it's a bit of a 50-50 zone right here. So I have an alert on a new low and on a new high. And then just waiting what will happen. Because you can say like, I think it's bullish. So then you could say, now let's use the daily low as invalidation and target a new high. But that's not really how I like to trade. For me, this is more a gamble than I'm gonna hope it plays out, and hoping that something works out in trading. For me, almost never works. I need to have like confirmations, and then I know I can trust it. But if I'm gonna hope that something happens, then 9 out of 10 times it's a loss for me. So I'm just gonna wait till we get some more price action, and then maybe like if we stall here, we can also form like a local range here, and if we then show like a sweep of that low, that could give something to work with. Or if we come back here and then show weakness, then it could be also be some shorts. So let's see what it will be. Let's see. The court with Blowfin Bitunix, it didn't tap the 1 hour demand. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Blowfin and Bitunix are relatively smaller exchanges. So the bigger ones like Bybit, mainly Bybit, Binance and Coinbase, they are driving the market. So that are the charts I pay attention to. And Bitunix or Blowfin are irrelevant. Like these one are leading for me, just Bybit. And Binance would be more likely the same. Welcome, Clan Village and Rice Baby as well. So yeah, basically stuck in between these two levels. And then if we zoom out some more, like here we have a lot of liquidity. So these are all stacked lower highs without real supply. So the moment we get above this local supply, which I just drew, then I think the next objective is to take all this liquidity, go to this gap, and tap the supply right there. On the other hand, if we break like below this demand I mentioned, then I would be interested in a lower high for a lower low, in which this then was a nasty first day of the new quarter manipulation kind of move. So pretty interesting what will happen from here. So let's have a look at the one thing to also keep an eye on is that our daily low is, let's see, where's the daily low? Yeah, so we have daily low at hour 2, which is like an early Asia pivot. So like hour 0 is super strong, hour 1 is also super strong, hour 2 also relatively strong, and then from there it becomes a lot less. And we have the daily high at hour 7, which is during London. So statistically spoken, this is a stronger pivot, and this is a unlikely high to remain. So based on that, the long idea makes a bit more sense. But yeah, as said, I don't really have something to work with yet. So let's have a look. What are the stats telling us? Six nine 200 was 382. Yeah, could be. I don't really use the 382, but could definitely be. Let's see for daily. Like based on timing, 35% of the days took out the daily low, and on distance 24, and 98% of the days form a new P2 after 7:10. So this shows how unlikely a daily pivot is at hour 7. It's highly unlikely. And based on distance, there's like 77% of the days make a bigger move. And like weekly flipped also bullish. Let's have a look. What are the session stats telling us? For the session stats, we have P1 at hour 12. Yeah, it's not telling too much, I think. But we can have a look. Session, yeah, not telling too much. No, I don't use Elliott wave. So what you are saying could be totally right, but I have literally no idea. I can act like I know what Elliott wave, but to me, it also doesn't. I don't really care about it. I know my own triggers. That's what where I execute on. So yeah, stats are not telling too much, but let's have a look at the order flow. First of all, here, to the downside, we don't have a lot of magnets. We only have poor low right there, and a poor high is the high. And then watching a single print, we still have a single print, right, which aligns with the supply right there. So that single print is the imbalance, which I just showed, this one. So that's why also I think we bias bullish, but I need to stick to my rules, and therefore I need to have a breaker structure, which is if we flip above here, then maybe backtest, then I can long it. For now, I can't really get along, but can have a look at how USDT is looking. Let's see. Because maybe if USDT can give me a structure confirmation, then so some demand right here. Yeah, not really giving me a different view. Yeah, so USDT is giving me the same view basically as BTC. So stuck between these levels. And it could also be that we just chop around because Trump is speaking this evening. And I was reading X a bit, and apparently all the big news papers and they are gonna all broadcast it live on TV. So it could be like a pretty big announcement. But yeah, that's the orange man is talking every single day. So we can have a look at oil, which is often the best signal. Yesterday like I was saying, like it looked like we locally sellers were in control. So I was looking for potential shorts on a lower high for lower low, which we also got, but not a trigger because I was asleep, unfortunately. But it was a pretty clean short, purely playing the local seller strength. So you see those move up and a super strong sell-off. And if you then watch local import structure, which basically is like this, and that breaks back to bearish, which it did right here, then that's a pretty clean short if you are watching it live. And like the cleanest one is if it's also in your fib levels. Like this one is not in the no, it came close. Like cleanest would be one more drive higher to tap that supply, tap the fib levels, and then flip structure back to bearish, and then you have like a high probability short. But yeah, timing has been off, which has been more the case this week, where quite a lot of clean moves happened overnight. So on gold, which I showed yesterday in the stream as well, I kind of see it like we had a range right here, then manipulation below, push above, and now this looks like manipulation above. So I think we are basically just back in the range, which is also the value area of the, like from this high to the low. We are basically back in the values, like here. So here, price basically manipulated below your value area low, pushed back in the range, and right now here it's manipulated above the value area high. And now price is simply back in value. So then you can expect rotations from like POC, lose POC, go to value area low, bounce from value area low, go to POC, flip POC, go to value area high, and then just watch the rotations. So for now, that is the main view on oil. And then if there is, like locally it looks pretty bearish with the lower highs, lower lows, and also here a strong sell. So if we move up here, then I'm also interested in shorts. Also because we have, now we took out most of this liquidity. So that's a bit less ideal. But basically if we zoom in, what I was looking for yesterday in this move, we are doing basically the same with like strong sell-off, then a push into back to premium and then sell off again. And this was also like strong sell off. So now we can watch maybe if price continues this local uptrend, which looks already pretty weak. But let's say it comes back up there. Then you can look for basically a replica of what happened here, where you have 1, 2, just upwards market structure. Then if you tap into supply, break your local uptrend, then it can be a short to play that local downtrend continuation, which is simple, like seller strength, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation. For now, yeah, we have local demand below, local supply above, so no super clean bias right here. And like optimal reversal is, like if your supply aligns with fib levels, that's super nice. So alert at the high, alert at the low. And let's look at BTC. Okay, BTC is pushing into that supply, showing some strength, which is good. Let's see. Now, if we flip the supply, then I'm gonna look for longs because I'm pretty sure we will take out the daily high. And if we take out the daily high, then I think there's not much holding us back, which I just explained before, like 70.3, 70.4. But we first need to flip or like continue to show strength. Creating some demand, which is a sign of strength. Let's quickly look. If we go aim for the daily high, would be 2R. But yeah, let's just wait what happens here. But flip this, and then super likely that this was the session low, and then we can look for longs. But right now it can also just be a lower high, lower low, lower high, a lower low. So pretty interesting what's gonna happen from here. Yeah, for Trump, I think Trump thinks indeed always it's April 1st. But yeah, like this week, every big move has been headline driven, and like Iran is now playing this, it seems like the same game as Trump, we just announcing something and then in the end it's worth nothing and no idea what to believe anymore. So all we can trust on is basically the chart. Dow is trying to break through its bulls now, might be looking for a retrace high there. Yeah, let's have a look at Tao. Oh. Yeah, I had marked out this 2-hour market structure high. And first we swept it, then came down into this range demand. So we like super clean again with range, break, mitigate, and now we are breaking above it. Let's see how does it look on the 2-hour. Yeah, okay, so this 2-hour candle still has 1.5 hours to go. But if it can close above this level, then like the 2 hours flip back to bullish, and then we can expect a rotation back up. Oh, have to keep an eye on this local supply. But yeah, so far this is looking pretty strong. If this is the gonna close like this, then then there is 4-hour demand created right here. So you have this demand pushing up. This demand mitigates the former demand and then pushes up again. So this is local demand chain. So this is a super strong POI to look then for higher lows if price is so kind to give that. And we can look, is it lower? Yeah, so this 30. Also look at just this horizontal. Because this is basically again range, break, mitigate, continue. So alert right there. Alert there. I think BTC is gonna squeeze through it. BTC, USDT, Tao pushing up, hype not doing anything. Am I gonna eat lagging behind? Just thinking out loud a bit if I where I want to pull the trigger to go long. Like on 1 minute, the extreme. Scheiße. Like this is already showing quite a lot of strength. So then also gonna look at the low time frame. Why could BTC not just give a slow pullback with market structure in this last move down? Then I was already long. Now it's doing the exact move in which I can't position myself. While this was the exact pre-planning we made. I give it pullback, hold the daily low, have a weak daily high at London, take liquidity, tap into demand, break structure, and long. Everything played out except the break of structure for an entry confirmation. But I'm not allowed to break my rules. That's the only thing holding me back now. Yeah, like this is gonna break through. So I'm gonna look for demand creations to play it up. This is a good reminder for others as well. Like it's always so tempting to break your rules, because then you think, oh yeah, it should go. But break one time your rules, and the little devil in your mind knows, I got away with breaking the rules. And then next time you will do it again, and then you take the loss. Then you will break your rules again, and then you're fucked. So it requires discipline to not break your rules. But it's super important, because if you do it one time, little voice your head knows that is possible, and then you're fucked. So like this is supply failure. This was supply. Price is basically taking it all, even the most refined 1 minute one. And right now you can look, like either it's going to reject from here, but if you have this deep of a supply mitigation, then oftentimes it's a sign of strength. So then we can look from the low up, what is the structure? So here we have 2 candles going down, right here need. So this is like the structure. And they can watch also, what is price leaving behind? Well, here we have demand. So this could be the higher low for a higher high. Right there, I'm interested in potential play. Mm, mm, mm. But then still, it's not a 100% boss. Often, I don't know, my problem often when a structure is valid on what time frame. Yeah, it's a bit it comes with experience. Not a one clean rule, but I always have like this obvious structure. So like from here, this is the only structure that, because also in this leg there is no lower high, not even on the 1 minute. So if we had low, high, low, and then broke it, then that would also validate it for me. But since this is one move down, this is basically the market structure high. Okay, right now we are in that local demand. They're definitely not making it easy. So right now, if we get like local upward structure, then I think I'm gonna long. If we break lower from here, then we also fill local demand, break local structure, then we can go down again. So it's a bit, yeah, just observing local price action right now. Let's see, I traded a longer time on FX and it's totally other dynamics. Yeah, it depends a bit. It's like, I don't really, yeah, it is different indeed. But it also really depends on your system. Like, there are so many different systems. Some can already give an entry and stuff, but for me, for my system I apply, I just need to wait for market structure. I always know when I don't follow market structure, then I get wrecked. Well, let's monitor it a bit. Hype is following the plan perfectly so far. Like here we SFP'd the market structure high into supply. So for now this is a rejection. And then I would love to get that model 1, which we have been pre-planning for like since here or so. So best case is that this just consolidates here for a bit, gives like the distance between tab 1 and 2 similar as tab 2 and 3, and then come down, model 1, break, and then flip, and then go back to the highs. So super nice development on hype so far. Tao is a different kind. Super interesting pullbacks on Tao, but yeah, often when it goes, it doesn't give many. But right now flipped bullish on Tao. So if anyone sees local ranges like this goes for local range, let me know, because then the local longs can be really, really rewarding. Yeah, it's a lot of, we are looking at a lot of chop once again. Supply tapped, demand tapped, right now stuck in the middle. Oil not doing anything, gold pushing. Well, hype will take a time, so let's see what these stocks are doing. Like this was super, super clean. With that low, lower high, lower low, but SFP, rotate back to your weak targeted high, break above, and since here, taking most of that buy side liquidity. So this is pretty, showing quite a lot of strength, in which this can now, like a super deep deviation, but since we reclaimed this key horizontal, this is basically back in the range, which is like range high right there, and this is the range. So that's showing quite a lot of strength. Locally, yeah, in the middle of nowhere. Still some liquidity above, so it can still push higher. Looks pretty strong. Got them. Okay. I'm gonna look for, let's see. Is this a long I would take? It's definitely not high probability or anything, but it is now in the key demand. But yeah, it's 50-50. Like if price would have been above here, then any demand mitigation I would be interested in longs. But since we technically have not broken our structure back to bullish, it's still 50-50 if this is gonna be like the lower high for lower low, or that we follow the main plan from today to follow like the high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and that this is the higher low for the higher high. And my feeling would say enter, but your feelings can often fuck with you. let's see, Kijos has a question. The low time frame range has been confirmed. 50% tapped. Is it maybe more a sign that we might rotate back? You mean like this? So low, high,